The rain poured down in heavy sheets that evening, drenching everything in its path. Streets were empty, save for the occasional car splashing through puddles. Most people were safely tucked inside their homes, warm and dry, sipping hot drinks while the storm raged outside. But one woman, Emily, was walking home from work, her umbrella barely holding against the wind. That's when she heard it, a soft, pitiful whimper coming from the side of the road. She stopped. The sound was faint, almost drowned by the rain, but it tugged at her heart. Cautiously, she followed it and found a small, shivering dog, soaked to the bone, with wide, terrified eyes. Emily's heart clenched. No one else was around. No one else seemed to care. But in that moment, she knew she couldn't walk away. Before we dive deeper into Emily's story, make sure you hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share your thoughts in the comments. Join our community here at Kindness Story Hub, where every story celebrates the little acts that make the world a better place. Emily knelt down, her coat getting soaked as she extended her hand. The dog didn't immediately move. Its fear was visible, its small body trembling uncontrollably. "It's okay," she whispered softly, more to herself than to the dog, as if repeating it would somehow make the world safer. Slowly, carefully, the dog inched closer. She noticed the dog had no collar, no tag, nothing to tell her where it came from. Its fur was matted, and its eyes were filled with a mix of exhaustion and desperation. Emily scooped it up gently, wrapping it in her scarf to warm it. She felt a strange connection immediately, a bond formed in a shared moment of vulnerability. The storm didn't feel as cold anymore. At home, Emily laid out an old blanket in the corner of her living room. She ran warm water and prepared some food. The dog, still wary, approached cautiously, sniffing the bowl before taking tentative bites. Emily watched silently, her heart swelling with compassion. In that quiet room, surrounded by the soft sound of rain tapping against the windows, something incredible was unfolding. Days passed, and Emily grew more attached to the little dog, whom she named Lucky. She had a knack for noticing the smallest gestures, the tilt of his head when she spoke, the gentle nudge of his nose against her hand, the way his tail wagged ever so slightly when she entered the room. Lucky had survived the streets, the cold, and the rain, and now, he was learning what it meant to be loved. But Emily soon realized that Lucky's past was more complicated than she initially thought. One evening, while scrolling through a local lost and found pets page, she saw a photo that made her heart stop. It was Lucky. His name wasn't Lucky at all. He was Max, a dog reported missing by a family who lived in another city, miles away. Emily's first thought was panic. She had grown so attached to him. Could she really give him back? The next day, Emily made the call. She explained how she had found Max in the storm, soaked and trembling, and how she had cared for him since. There was a long silence on the other end before a soft voice responded. "Thank you for saving him. We were devastated when he disappeared." It was the family. Emily could hear the emotion in their voices, the pain that had lingered since Max went missing. A few days later, Emily drove Max back to his family's home. The reunion was something she would never forget. Max ran to them, barking joyfully, tail wagging as if he recognized them immediately. Tears streamed down the mother's face as she knelt to hug him. "We thought we lost you forever," she whispered. And in that moment, Emily felt a bittersweet pang in her chest, a mix of happiness and heartbreak. But then something happened that would shock everyone who heard the story. The family revealed that Max had been missing for weeks, and during that time, they had started to lose hope. They had posted his photo everywhere, called shelters, and even held a small vigil in their backyard. Emily's act of kindness had not just saved Max from the rain, it had restored hope to a family that had been silently grieving. It wasn't just about finding a lost dog anymore. Emily realized that small acts of compassion ripple far beyond what we can see. That night, she sat on her porch, wrapped in a blanket, watching the stars peek through the clouds after the storm. She thought about how one decision, one simple choice to help, had changed so many lives, including her own. Emily continued to visit Max and his family, forming a unique bond with them. She saw how a little kindness could create a chain reaction. Inspired by her experience, she started volunteering at local shelters, helping other lost and abandoned animals find safe homes. Her story spread online, shared by people moved by the way a single act of empathy had blossomed into something beautiful and far-reaching. Meanwhile, Lucky, or Max, as he was officially known, became a symbol of hope. The family posted updates about him, sharing photos of his playful antics and happy reunions with Emily. They wrote about the stormy night that changed everything, about the stranger who didn't hesitate to extend her hand when no one else would. People across the country were touched by the story, leaving comments about their own experiences with kindness and the power of helping others. Through it all, Emily learned that kindness doesn't require grand gestures. It doesn't have to make headlines or go viral. Sometimes, it's simply about noticing someone, or in this case, an animal, in need, and choosing to act. The warmth she felt that night in the rain, holding a trembling dog, was more powerful than any material possession or accomplishment she had ever experienced. She thought about how many people pass by opportunities to help every day. The woman in the coffee shop who needs a smile, the neighbor struggling with groceries, or the stray animal hiding in the shadows, all waiting for someone to notice. Emily realized that kindness isn't just about changing one life, it's about inspiring others to see the world with empathy, to carry that light forward. Months later, Emily received a surprise message from Max's family. They had adopted another dog, and they named him Hope. "Your story inspired us to open our hearts again," they wrote. Emily smiled, tears welling up. It wasn't just Max's life that had been transformed by kindness, it was theirs, and countless others who had read about it, who had shared it, who had felt moved to act. And in the end, Emily knew that the world isn't as cold or cruel as it sometimes seems. Every storm eventually ends, and every act of compassion creates a ripple. The little choices we make, the moments we take to care for someone else, have the power to shock and inspire millions, just as hers did. So, the next time you see someone or something in need, don't walk past. Extend your hand. Offer your time. Share your heart. You may never know the full impact of your kindness, but you can be sure it will matter more than you ever imagined, because sometimes, a simple act of care on a rainy night doesn't just save a life. It changes the world.